Dubai, United Arab Emirates. A top Emirati security official has said the only way for Qatar's crisis to end is if Doha gave up hosting the 2022 FIFA World Cup. His comments coming amid the ongoing diplomatic dispute between the energetic nation and 4 Arab countries. Dubai Security LT. Gen. Dahi Khalfan, known for being outspoken on Twitter, later wrote Monday his personal analysis of what he described as the financial pressure Doha faces in hosting the games had been misunderstood. But his remarks came as lobbying firms backed by the 4 nations opposing Qatar in the diplomatic dispute increasingly target the upcoming soccer competition in their criticism. The tournament has not come up in the demands previously made by the boycotting countries, though losing the World Cup would represent a bitter defeat for the tiny peninsular nation that's pushed itself onto the world stage with its bid and its Al Jazeera satellite news network. Qatari officials did not respond to requests for comment on Monday. However, the 2022 tournament's head in Qatar told the Associated Press on Friday the boycott poses no risk to the competition being held. Bahrain, Egypt, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates all cut diplomatic ties and began a boycott of Qatar on June 5, in part over allegations that Doha supports extremists and has overly warm ties to Iran. Qatar has long denied funding extremists and restored full diplomatic ties to Iran amid the dispute. Doha shares a massive offshore natural gas field with Iran that makes its citizens incredibly wealthy. On Sunday night, Khalfan targeted the FIFA tournament in his tweets. If the World Cup leaves Qatar, Qatar's crisis will be over, because the crisis is created to get away from it, he wrote. He added the cost is bigger than what the Hamadeen have planned, likely referring to Qatar's former ruling emir Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani and former foreign minister Hamad bin Jassim Al Thani. Some believe both still wield influence within Qatar's current government, now ruled by the former emir's son, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. Khalfan, who previously has written controversy-catching tweets about Israel and U.S. President Donald Trump, also wrote that Qatar is no longer our concern, suggesting media in the boycotting countries dial back their coverage of the dispute. By Monday night, Khalfan returned to Twitter to write that his tweets were his personal analysis. I said Qatar is faking a crisis and claims it's besieged so it could get away from the burdens of building expensive sports facilities for the World Cup, he tweeted. That's why Qatar isn't ready and can host the next World Cup, he added. As the crisis has dragged on despite mediation by Kuwait, the United States and European nations, Qatar's opponents have begun targeting its hosting of the FIFA Cup. They've pointed to allegations of corruption surrounding Qatar's winning bid, as well as the conditions that laborers working in Qatar face in building infrastructure for the Games. While FIFA ethics investigators found that the Qataris used a full range of lavishly funded state and sports agencies to win the 2010 vote to host the tournament, authorities concluded there was no evidence of any improper activity by the bid team. When Qatar's sole land border with Saudi Arabia was closed and sea traffic cut off by the boycott, World Cup organizers were forced to instigate a plan B, including bringing in supplies from Turkey. Asked about Khalfan's comments, FIFA said Monday we do not comment on speculation. Hassan Al-Thawadi, Qatar World Cup Supreme Committee Secretary General, told the app on Friday that the project remained on time despite that. We are aiming to make sure that this World Cup leaves a legacy for the people of the Middle East and is an opportunity to transform our region towards a sustainable and stable future, he said. Win, and they're in. That or a draw is what's on the line for the U.S. men's national team on Tuesday evening when it takes the field at Atto Boldon Stadium in Cuba, Trinidad and Tobago. The USMNT is coming off a confidence-boosting 40 rout of Panama, but the squad discovered Monday afternoon things wouldn't be easy in Trinidad and Tobago. More how will the USA line up against Haiti? Thanks to heavy rains recently, a natural moat of water separated the players from the locker room and the field, forcing them to improvise ways of getting over it. Perhaps tricking through the water will be a character-building exercise. Or it's a reminder that in CONCACAF, nothing comes easy. Trinidad and Tobago are coming off a 31-road defeat in Mexico, and while they're eliminated from World Cup contention, they're likely to try and score a big result against the US on home turf. With so much on the line, let's take a look at 3 keys to victory for the USMNT over Trinidad and Tobago. More, ever wanted to know what it's like to be a fly on the wall in the US men's national team locker room? Well, wonder no more. Courtesy of U.S. Soccer. Watch a cool behind-the-scenes look at the USMNT's 40 win over Panama last Friday in Orlando. The win means the U.S. need just a draw to qualify for the 2018 World Cup in Russia. Jason Kreis is not a fan of Major League Soccer's decision to only fine FC Dallas, and not declare their scoreless draw with Orlando City SC a forfeit. During Kreis' media availability on Monday, the Orlando City boss lashed out at the league, saying its decision to just fine FC Dallas $100,000 in allocation money was embarrassing. MLS fined FC Dallas $75,000 in general allocation money and $25,000 in targeted allocation money. The controversy surrounds FC Dallas' decision to move Michael Barrios out of its starting lineup and bring in Tesho Akindele after the lineups had been announced. Barrios, who arguably should have been ineligible because he had been subbed out, then substituted in for Maxi Urruti in the 84th minute. MLS does not have rules on its books for starting lineups and potential violations. FIFA delegates management of roster rules and sanctions for violations to the respective leagues throughout the world. Read the last sentence of MLS press release on the FC Dallas fine. There is no international rule for changes to a matchday roster. In the past, situations such as this in FIFA competitions would have likely resulted in a forfeit for the team playing the ineligible player. But MLS decided to blame it on referee error for allowing it not change the final outcome. By keeping the result as it is, Orlando City was mathematically eliminated from MLS playoff contention while FC Dallas remained 1 point ahead of Real Salt Lake and the San Jose Earthquakes, who both have 42 points and sit outside the playoff places. FC Dallas currently occupies the sixth and final playoff spot with 43 points. Real Salt Lake coach Mike Petke also said this was a clear-cut violation and expressed his shock that it wasn't forfeited. England national team fans better get used to seeing their team use a three-man back line, because it's here to stay. That's according to a report from The Telegraph, which states that Southgate will use a three-man defence as part of his preferred formation for November's friendly matches against Brazil and Germany as a way to build the team's identity ahead of next summer's World Cup in Russia. Follow all of PST's place coverage. We have to focus on a system and really try to hone it, work on it, improve it. That might mean we might have to leave some good players out. But we have to start to make those decisions over the next couple of camps, Southgate said after England's 10 win over Lithuania. In the past, England has been criticised for not having an identity, for playing a bland style of soccer with the hopes of individual moments of brilliance taking them forward. While some may criticise the use of a three-man back line, it does allow England to release wing-backs Danny Rose and Kyle Walker farther up the field, as well as give John Stones more cover at centre-back. For me, in terms of the way we'd want to play from the back, I think it or three-man defence is a better option, Southgate said. At the moment, we turn the ball over too much, and when we do, we split into two centre-backs wide open. We are still open against Lithuania with three. So we will benefit if we don't keep turning the ball over. The decision is a change, or evolution, from the 4,231 formation used by Southgate through most of the qualifying campaign, but with a changed formation, it could lead to some attackers not getting a chance to start, whether it's Marcus Rashford or Jamie Vardy. According to the report, Southgate's preferred attackers behind Harry Kane include Dele Alli and, when fit, Adam Lallana, to play in a similar way to Tottenham, with Lallana playing in Christian Eriksen's role.